gentlemen, against all odds, we have made it to episode 13 of Still Here, Still Trying. Most podcasts never make it this far, but here we are, episode 13, the unlucky number, or maybe the luckiest. And hosting tonight's episode, the man who thinks he can play goalie and run a health center and make albums and start a podcast, Mike Baker. Lucky number 13. The luck is gonna have to work overtime for this guy.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 13 of Still Here, Still Trying. This has been such an incredible adventure. Thank you for being a part of this process. We're defying the odds tonight by releasing episode 13. Everybody said that when you launch podcasts, it's really important to get past 12 episodes. So here we are on episode 13. Round of applause for everybody for being a part of this process. All joking aside, thank you. Seriously, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for the notes of encouragement that you send. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for leaving comments. This is something that it really means a lot to me. And I think the coolest thing about it all is that it means something to you. So while we may be a small and mighty following in the Still Here, Still Trying camp, that's all it takes. It takes a few of us to be connected, to find value, and to share it. So I know every podcast you listen to, they ask you the same thing. So I'm going to ask you, please take a second, like this episode, share this episode, push it out to a friend some way through a text message and say, hey, this is the goofiest guy I've ever met, but there's value here and it's fun. So anyway, please do that. I really appreciate it. It really makes a huge difference. Every single podcast that you listen to, they ask you the same things. That's the only way that this message gets bigger and broader and louder. So thank you ahead of time because I know that you're going to do it. So thank you very much. Today we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. We're going to talk about the power of saying yes because man, life is so much better when we say yes, but it's also really scary. So we're going to read a passage from the book, The Optimist Way. Check out that shelf behind me. We got some books over there. That's a really powerful book, so you should check it out. We're going to talk a little bit about it tonight. I'm going to read a passage. We're going to talk about that. Before we do all of that, though, we've had a couple weeks of birthdays. Like I shared with you last week, it was Samantha's birthday this weekend. We had a wonderful time celebrating her birthday. It's so crazy having like all of my kids grown up. Sammy's an adult. She's 18. She has a year left of high school, and it's so much fun watching her be a part of that. It is also so much fun having adult kids and seeing them be responsible, making wise choices as far as we know, and really living their lives. So I love my family. The last month has just been filled with incredible family time. Cameron spent some time with us a couple weeks ago. We had a weekend where Jake was up here with everybody. We shot our family pictures and they were amazing. It was so much fun just to do that. And then we had Kelly's birthday and then we had Samantha's birthday. And then I'm on a long sprint for work where we've got a lot going on, lots of travel, lots of things happening. And then we're rolling into a big anniversary for Kelly and I. And so we'll talk about that in a future episode. But it's just, I feel so blessed, so lucky. And I know so many of you out there in those same positions where you just can't believe how lucky you are every single day. You just get to wake up and you get to have an adventure and make the most of it. So with all of that being said, this episode, we're going to talk about just what happens when you say yes to things in the world. And I have a passage on page 162 of The Optimist Way. You should go check it out. Link in the show notes. That's a great book. It really is. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I wrote it, but there's a lot of really cool things in it. But I'm going to read this first passage and then we're going to talk about it. So this passage starts out as titled, "Don't Let Life Pass You By." There are people who live cautiously. They stay within the lines. They stay inside the safe, familiar walls they've built. They say no to opportunity because it's too risky, too uncomfortable. They stay home. They wait for things to happen instead of making them happen. It's easy to sit back and wait. It's easy to stick with what's comfortable. But here's the truth. Life doesn't wait. We only get one shot at this, one chance to step outside of our routine, to say yes when everything inside of us says no. One chance to take the risks, to make the mistakes, to experience the things that will shape us into who we're meant to be. The biggest regret is not trying. The biggest regret is staying inside the safety net, never testing how far you can reach, how high you can fly, how deep you can dive. It's easier to say no, to play it safe, to settle for comfort. But you were made for more than that. If you don't take risks, you'll never know what you're capable of. If you don't step out into the unknown, you'll never uncover the opportunities waiting for you. You don't have to have it all figured out, but you do have to take the first step. So today, say yes. Step outside your comfort zone. Chase the wild, risky, beautiful things that will remind you what it feels like to be alive. So that's on page 162 of The Optimist Way, available on Amazon, filled with incredible wisdom. But in all honesty, when we take a second and think about that passage, think about what it's saying. There are so many times in life, and we talked about this last episode, we talked about anxiety, we talked about what it feels like to have the world closing in on you. And when you're stuck in that space, there is no way for you to think about even getting out of your comfort zone. Your body's telling you that you need to retreat. You need to go back to the safe place. You need to be in that space. And what we're talking about this week is saying, okay, we made it through that anxiety attack. We made it through that space. But now, what am I going to do today? What's one thing that I can say yes to that will help me find my purpose for the day, my purpose for the hour, my purpose for the next minute, whatever it needs to be? What can I say yes to that's going to help me make it through my day and get me to that next level in the game, right? So every single day we wake up and there's this opportunity to either do better or do worse or stay the same. And some days we're just going to stay the same. Some days we're going to do worse. But today, tomorrow, after you listen to this episode, your challenge is to just go say yes to something. So that yes can be really easy. That can be yes to, I'm going to get out of bed today. Sweet. If that's the challenge you need to conquer, then do that. If your yes is, I'm going to send a text message to a friend and ask them for coffee. That's incredible, right? That's getting you out of your comfort zone. You could say yes to, boy, I haven't talked to this person in a while. I didn't leave it in the best place the last time I talked to them. I'm going to reach out and say, hey, I love you. I'm thinking about you. And that was weird last time, and I'm sorry. And I hope we can find some space to get back together, right? So there's these opportunities that come around. Now, there's a wonderful show out there. I think it's hilarious, right? We've all probably seen Yes Man with Jim Carrey. Incredible show, right? This guy, the whole premise, he has to say yes to everything that comes his way. And you look at the adventures and they are crazy and wild, and probably nobody wants to live that wild and crazy in their adventures. But the theme of the show really is all about just saying yes. We never know what life is going to throw at us. So we need to step out of our comfort zone. When I started into this space of being creative, right? I mean, it's a whole different place for me. I'm putting my heart and soul into something where think I think it's pretty cool. You know, I actually listen to my music all the time. I love looking at my art. I order my art. It means something to me. And I love that there are lots of people out there that it means something to them, but it's really cool. And I think it's cool and I want to share it with people. But this imposter syndrome, this anxiety riddled guy in my space, right? It just it pushes me to say, man, you release something and nobody even listens to it. Nobody cares, right? And that's that negative voice that, in the optimist way we talk about. We want to fight that voice. We want to put that to bed, to recognize that it's there, but we can't let it win. And so I am trying, right? I'm still here. I'm still trying. I am trying my best to put that voice to bed. I recognize that not, the things that I write, the art that I create, the music that I create, it's not for everybody. I get that. But it's been so cool because this work has led into relationships or connections across the world that I never would have had. And all because I said yes to, I'm going to finally take those stories, those lyrics that have always been in my head, and I'm going to use these tools that I have available to me to start telling stories in a different way. And that in itself has been so powerful. But that is 100% me getting out of my comfort zone. When I release an album and like an hour goes by and nobody says, Mike, that was amazing. I loved it. Right. I'm sitting in here thinking, what a failure, what a failure, what a failure. You're a loser. Nobody cares about you. Your stuff is dumb, blah, blah, blah. You should give up. Right. I mean, that's what's rolling through my head. Um, my whole point in doing this is to put something out there and have somebody listen to it and say, God, that actually brightened my day, or that made me laugh. That was such a goofy song, or that piece of art was so beautiful. It was so cool because it resonated with me. It caught me in a space where I needed that, and we created a connection. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they said that a lot of times when you are an artist, when you are releasing music, when you write books, your closest friends and family, they're gonna be there for you. They're gonna cheer you on, but it may not be their style. It may not be something that they love, and they're gonna somewhat humor you and say, "Oh, that was cute. Nice job. Way to go." But they may not be your most loyal and dedicated fans. And I don't share that in, for any other reason, just to talk about, like, I think there's kind of a point to that because when I look out beyond the circle that I live in, right, I have people that now they reach out to me a couple times a week and they say, I love that. I love that song. I had a gentleman reach out to me from Kenya this week that just said, he's like, I only listen to your music right now. I need it in my life. It's really hard. And your lyrics and the sound that you're bringing to my world lifts me up and makes me feel better. Now, I don't know this gentleman. We have never met. But for me, it brings me so much joy knowing that, look, something that came out of this goofy brain of mine landed in Kenya on this guy's playlist, and it's making him happy. Now, that is so powerful to me, and I love it. Right? Again, I've had so many people reach out outside of my circles that say, you're making a difference. And that's amazing. And I love like everybody in my circles. Like none of this is meant to say, hey, people in my circle aren't supportive. That's not at all what I'm saying. They are incredibly supportive, but there's just this space where you start to expand beyond those bubbles and you see the connections that you're making. When I first started my work with Endo Dad, so I mean, that's really how I got into this. I think we've talked about it in some other podcasts I've appeared on, but I had a night where I was broken as a parent. My child was really struggling with just incredible pain, and I didn't know what to do. And I started just kind of searching and searching and searching, trying to find some space where, God, is there something I can do here? And I landed into this space where I was starting to create these images of warriors. So, I see my wife, my daughter, people with endometriosis across the world. I see them fighting this incredible battle against this unseen demon that is destroying their lives. And I see them as these powerful figures that wake up every single day and start to battle the demons and the enemies that are coming at them that tell them every single day, Your life's gonna be miserable. You're gonna be in pain. You're terrible. Da 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 da. All of that stuff happens, and they wake up and say, "Nope, not today. I'm gonna kick your ass, and we're gonna win." And that space is just so powerful. And so we see the people in our lives fighting those battles as those powerful, powerful warriors. And that was so cool because I was able to create that page, EndoDad 70, and start to put those out. And then I'd offer the service to people across the world. Send me a selfie, and I'm going to turn you into this warrior. And then you're going to have that image for the rest of your life. And when you have a bad day, you wake up, look at that image, you see that everyone around you sees you as this incredible warrior. And maybe that helps lift you out of a space where you may have struggled that day, right? And so it's been incredible to see how that has spun through the world and the relationships that we've made. That has been powerful. And then that spun into creating music, and that spun into writing a book. And that has now spun into some really cool projects that I'm working on where we're going to take music and art and use that to change the world in a way that makes so much sense up here in North Idaho. I can't wait. We're getting close to where we'll talk about it. We're going to do a whole episode on it. But we're building some stuff that's going to really drive the story and the narrative behind women's health in North Idaho. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun. So just stay tuned. I'm going to keep dropping some hints as we go through, but I've got a little bit of work that I need to do before we can get there. But we're going to take all these gifts and we're going to put them into a space where we could tell a story and drive a new narrative and really just make the world a better place. So that's going to be amazing. Now, I share all of this just because this happened because I decided to do something with the fear and anxiety and negativity that was in me and turn it into something that I hope is positive. And so when I look out at the world today, the world needs so much more positivity. I am I'm constantly worried and frustrated by what I see happening in our political spectrum in our country. We are tearing each other apart. Like I'm afraid. Honestly, I'm afraid to speak out against the things that I'm seeing. I worry about the overreach, the things that are happening. What are we doing? What are we doing? And so there's so much fear and negativity. And like even saying anything like that, I'm gonna have people that come at me like, Mike, you're terrible because we all believe in our people. And I don't care. Your people are all wrong, right? The safety is in the middle, and the great ideas come from the middle. Our country has never been strong when we are polarized and opposites and we're fighting and yelling at each other. We have to find space to come together. And so that again, that is why I am trying to create art and music. We just released a really fun article inside the Coeur d'Alene Press. This is really just a call to the middle, like come to the middle, come to the middle, come to the middle. Let's find ways. Let's recognize that things are not going well in our country and we need to come to the middle. And let's be okay saying, hey, that's actually wrong. The things that are happening are wrong. And let's call it out. Let's not let it happen. And let's come to the middle and find solutions. Let's find ways to get through this. So all of that, like that's the intent that I have behind everything that I'm doing is just really trying to create that space where it can be safe. We can stretch ourselves and get out of our comfort zone. I don't have to feel fear for saying, hey, I think things are pretty screwed up right now. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, things are pretty screwed up and we need to do better. And please, let's come to the middle. And the only way we can do that is by saying yes to something different today and getting out of our comfort zone, right? And kind of doing that. So when we do that, I think that's how we find better space to really start to make the world a better place. And so what I'm hoping to do with this 13th episode that we've worked on, I'm really hoping that we've been able to have just a good conversation as we walk through this. I was trying to figure out how to build a little more structured episode tonight. And I thought, hey, it's lucky number 13. We're going to wing it. This may not be the best episode that we've got, but it's going to be 100% real. It's going to be 100% me. And we're going to start out with that same space where we say, let's just pause. So after you listen to this episode, just take a few minutes and think about the one thing, think about the no that's been in your brain for the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What's the one thing that you think, I really should do that? But then that inner voice comes in and it screams at you, no, 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 don't do that because of XYZ. Let's think about that. Now, I'm going to throw a caveat on there. If they're bad thoughts, don't do those things. But those good things, those things that are driving you to make the world better, to get out of your comfort zone and grow, let's give that stuff some space and just find a way to say yes to one piece of that or all of it, right? Go all in. And, if your thing is to go be like the number one karaoke singer at the bar this weekend, then just hell yeah, do that. Jump on it and go. Feel stupid, feel crazy, feel wild, but get out of your comfort zone and go do it. That is the only way that we get through this. And in that passage I read at the start, remember, we only get one run at this life. And, you hear so often people that get to their tail end of their lives and they look back on their lives and say that, the things that I regret the most are the things that I wish that I would have said yes to early on. And so, man, just imagine what your life could be like if you just started to say yes to those things that came through. I recognize that it's hard. I am not great at it myself. I say no to things. I want to be a recluse sometimes, but the times that I say yes, the times I open my doors to new opportunities, they are so powerful. They're so memorable. They're so just so overwhelming when you do it. It creates this additional space in your life that you can find beauty, you can find joy. And so my ask, my request of all of you today, aside from liking this episode, sharing this episode, is to really finish this episode and just stop for a minute. Take 10, 15 minutes and think about where you're at in your life. Think about the one no that's been holding you back and make a plan to get to a yes. Now, that may be really simple. You may just need to say, yes, I'm going to do it. Give it a deadline. By 5 o'clock tonight, I'm going to call this person. Or tomorrow morning at noon, I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z. Just, give it that timeline, prepare yourself emotionally, and you're going to see that the world's going to start to open up and you're going to find additional beauty. You're going to find new memories. You're going to really live in that space where the world it's waiting for you to go out and explore it. And every time we say no to something, we're really turning that opportunity off and we're losing that chance to find that extra beauty in our lives. Okay. Well, episode 13 it's been really fun for me. I hope it's been fun for you. I hope that you've taken some value out of this time that we've had together tonight and that you're able to really think about the one thing that's holding you back. Think about that one yes and go out and do it. Now, it would be so much fun for me if you just send me a message. Say, hey, Mike, I listened to your episode. Here was my no, and here's how I turned it into a yes. Tell me about it. I would love to hear about it. I know that there's a valuable story in there, and I know that it's going to make your life better. So, thank you for being here for episode 13. Thank you for just hanging in there with me as I tried to all of this stuff and try to get better. I'm doing my best to be good at this. It means the world to me that you would take your time and spend it with me and take a risk in this goofy guy adding any value to your life. I hope that I do. I'm sorry if I don't. I'll keep trying because the point of this whole podcast and most of what I'm doing is to really remind all of us that we're all still here and we're all still trying. So until next time, go out there and have a beautiful week. Thank you for being a part of this adventure with me. All right. I hope you enjoyed episode 13. The song that I'm going to send you out with tonight is called The Way We Shine. It's a beautiful song. I wrote it for the album called The Way We Shine. So check it out anywhere you stream your music. I hope you enjoy it. The Way We Shine tells a beautiful story, and I think it's perfect for the way that we left the episode and the themes we were working on. So have a wonderful week. Enjoy the song.
He said, I don't see me on the TV screen. Too loud for some, too quiet in between. But he laughed when the fireflies landed near. Said they don't care who I am out here. And this is the way we shine, even in the dark, with nothing but truth and a trembling spark. No spotlight needed, no perfect lines. We glow from the real, that's the way we shine. She wore her heart like a denim coat, torn and stitched with all the notes she wrote. They miss the music and how I speak, singing soft to the rhythm of being free. And I said, you ain't broken, you're just unrefined. You're the gold they miss in the dusty nights. And this is the way we shine, even in the dark. Nothing but truth and a trembling spark. No spotlight needed, no perfect lines. We glow from the real, that's the way we shine. I built this porch with open arms. I'll light the lantern, you be the stars. They don't get to name what's pure and fine. You're more than enough, this is the way we shine. So come as you are, bring all of your light. We'll sit here in love and shine through the night.